Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Folks, we are so excited. We are so excited. Miss Alicia Ford, she has published her book, Echols from the Grave. Um, um, I'm not going to say a whole lot about her. She's going to have the opportunity to kind of tell who she is, all the different things that kind of led up to the writing and things of that nature. We have award-winning author, playwright, Dorcas Curry, who's here, who'll be facilitating the interview. And so I'm going to step aside. Folks, if you have any questions, we ask for you to kind of save them to the end. If you and just write them in the chat box. I will be monitoring the chat, and those questions will be addressed toward the end of the session. This is going to be a great day, and we're so proud and thankful that all of you are here. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started right. So, here we go.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone, to this first Zoom launch interview for the featured author of today. Drum roll, please. Alicia Ford. Yay! Welcome, and thank you so much, Ms. Ford, for allowing me the opportunity to be the one who interviews you today and shares your information with the world. The flow will consist of, we are going to get to know a little bit about you, and then I'm going to ask you some questions, and you'll answer some questions for me. And at the end of the time, we're going to hopefully get a Q&A in and answer questions at the end. I will ask again that everyone who's not speaking to put your mics on mute.
Okay, thank you so much.
If everyone would put their mics on mute at this time, please. And then when we finish with the Q&A, Curry Brothers will take over and tell you a little bit about what's going on with publishing and how to get the book and all that good stuff. So, congratulations, Alicia Ford. Yes, yes. New author of Echoes from the Grave. This is what the book looks like. I don't know if it's backwards in there or not, but Echoes from the Grave. Go ahead and flex, honey, because you've done some things that other folks only dream of doing. So get your little flex on right there. So tell us, how does it feel to be a published author?
Absolutely amazing. I'm still pinching myself every day. Is this real? Is this real? I'm enjoying the journey.
Absolutely. How many times have you Googled yourself yet?
Every day.
Every day. There you go. There you
every
go.
Day. Every day.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. Okay, if you don't mind, I want to take a few minutes to read the inside flap of your book so that our audience can get a little preview of what the book is about, okay?
Thank you so much.
Sure. Echoes from the Grave is a love story complete with all the trappings of sex, violence, and discrimination, learning to deal with frustrations and family. Rarely will you find a book that deliberately takes the reader on a roller coaster highs and the deepest valley lows. Alicia Ford vividly describes the environment of her earliest beginnings and invites you into the conversation. This book is for the ages and will help you appreciate the importance of family. It has been said, life is full of surprises, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Alicia Ford makes you stand at attention with her book, and as she pours out her soul in taking you back to the 1920s and walking you to the front door of today. She provides a family history that is amplified with family secrets never shared until now. Echoes from the Grave discreetly gives you a glimpse into the Echo family, the archives, and hoping that you'll appreciate and take relevance in every page. Wow. All the trappings of sex, violence, and discrimination, honey, that right there is going to make anybody want to pick up the book. I know you got some other stuff in there, but that right there alone is going to make people interested. So before we get into the juicy of the book, tell us about Alicia Ford. Tell us something about who this author is.
Okay. Well, I'm a wife, over 30 years. I'm a mother of 7 wonderful grown children.
Yes,
I'm
the
a
grown part,
grandmother of, yeah, grown children, and a grandmother of 6. Um, that's pretty much who I am. I've been a caretaker, a nourisher, a giver uh, of our community all of my life. And so I've worked in the field of education. I recently was the caretaker of Mrs. S until recently. Um, and so I work out in my garden. That's my meditation spot where I can hear from God, talk to God, and prune and be pruned. And I enjoy what's happening right now, this journey
Yeah.
with this book. So that's me in a nutshell.
Very good. And you guys, we didn't plan to wear the same colors today. It kind of happened that way. And the other thing is, I didn't know that you were a gardener. I am too. So I understand about going out in the garden and finding your solace so you can get in the
Yes.
dirt and dig with the dirt and commune with earth and all that good stuff. So congratulations on
Yes.
that. Congratulations. When I first read the title of your
Thank you.
book, when I first read the title of your book, Echoes from the Grave, I didn't read the letters. I heard echoes. And I thought, okay, let me go back. And then when I started reading the book, I realized it's not the sound of an echo, but Echoes from the Grave is your family name. How did you come up with the title of the book?
I think that I've always carried the title of the book with me in my journey. When my children were young, elementary school, I would tell them I was going to write a book and this was going to be the name of the book. When I met my husband and he was courting me 30 something years ago, I would tell him I was going to write a book and this was going to be the name of it. It's something that resonated inside of me, but it needed to mature outside of being the Echols family name, which there is an Echols cemetery in Case, Texas, that actually exists.
Okay.
And also, if you don't mind, if you just put your right hand over your heart, just for a second, can you feel that? It's in an echo chamber. It's your heartbeat, but it's the one thing we all have in common today. And I so appreciate the heartbeat of today and am grateful for it and that we have that in common.
Absolutely.
So Echoes just resonated with me. I appreciate the question.
So what motivated you to write the book then?
Empty nest syndrome, being a mother of 7 children. Our youngest had went off to college, and there was something inside of me trying to get me to remember that I said I was going to write this book, and it began to swell up inside me until the point where I couldn't hold it or contain it anymore, and it began to ooze out on paper.
Yes.
It's been there, but it just wasn't ready.
Okay.
And so the motivation was empty nest syndrome.
So you got everybody out of the way so you can do. I understand.
Yes.
I understand that. So with this book came a lot of research. I from reading it, you went back to 1920s, as you said in your beginning. But how much time did you spend researching before you started writing?
A year. It took me a year to do the research, mainly because of a lot of the shock factors of stories being untold, a lot of the discovery that was there. So it took me a year to do the research, and I kind of started with that period because it related to this period. We say recession, and we say in 1929 it was a depression. I think we might be close to looking out our own windows and calling it a depression here pretty soon, because we have, the homelessness, we call it, but it's back then they called it shanty towns, but it's very similar.
Okay. So it took you about a year to get all your information together and then start
Yes.
writing. Okay. In
Mhm.
your book, in the summary of your book, you said this book is amplified with family secrets never shared until now. And you
Mhm.
also state in your book that you changed the names to protect people in the book, which I can understand why. But
Mhm.
given that you're telling the nitty-gritty of family secrets, how did your family, or how does your family feel about you telling these untold secrets?
They've been very supportive. I think for them, they've been a part of the journey all along. I've never sugarcoated or hid anything from them
Okay.
because I didn't want anybody else to shock them with their truths. And
Absolutely.
so it gave me an opportunity to actually write and tell them as I was writing. One son told me it should have been the sequel to Color Purple because that's how he received it.
Mm,
I had
mm.
one daughter told me that she would sue me if I used her real name. And right,
Right, I can understand
but
why.
you yes, yes, yes. So that's what prompted the name changes.
Okay.
And the secrets that came along were not necessarily things that I had not shared with my family, but the details of things that I had not shared with my family. Not only details that I had not shared with them, a discovery for my own self of whom um, my parents actually were
Mm,
was, you know, absolutely an eye opener.
okay. Okay. For someone who may be wanting to write a similar book,
Hmm.
what do you think was the most difficult part of writing about your family members?
Truth.
Okay.
I think that I say that to say we tend to carry on what we call traditions in our families. If mom, cut a corner of the meat off before she put it in the pan, then the daughter did it, and so on and so forth. And nobody ever asked why the person did that. We just do it. And for me, I think that I wanted my children moving forward to have absolutely truth and not so much of the tradition of this is how we've done it and this is how we're going to do it and we're not going to change.
Right.
I needed truth, and it was important for me to offer them truth, and I was willing to um, humbly put myself out there to get to that truth. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you come from.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah,
applaud
so
you for
that
that.
was my yes. Well, truth, no hiding. There comes a point when you can't hide anymore. You have to stand on what your truth is and own it, the
Right.
good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
I'm grateful that I've had more good than bad, but you have to own it.
Right. 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 And I applaud you for
Yes.
that, because so many times our families, and I want to say particularly African American families, you just don't talk about it. If it happened,
Mm-hmm.
don't say anything about it. That's just hush. Don't tell nobody nothing. If you tell anybody, tell God. And that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you saying the truth is what helped you move to get this written. Um,
Absolutely.
so what advice would you give anyone about the ethics of writing about family members?
Be conscientious of their feelings and their emotions and their beings, and be forgiving, be compassionate, be understanding, and have a conversation. If you're going to include a particular individual, have a conversation with them to see how comfortable they are with what you're going to tell about your story, because
Okay.
perception is 90% of it. And because I perceived my journey this way doesn't mean that others that embraced the journey with me saw it the same way that I did.
Right.
An example, I called an elderly couple one time. They were sitting in their living room, and I asked them about the weather, and the old man said, it's a storm. There's a storm coming. It's getting ready to rain. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then I spoke to the lady of the house, and she said it was a clear, sunny day. And when she said that, I thought, how could these two people be in the same house and tell me two different things? What is
Mhm.
going on? Then I realized one was looking out of one window and saw the view of the storm coming, and the other one was looking out of the other window and still saw sunshine. So it's perception in terms of where we sit in the spectrum of life when it's
Absolutely.
happening to us.
Very good. I like that.
So to be conscientious about others when you're writing about others, and to be compassionate.
Okay. Okay. So think about Superman. Superman had his kryptonite. His kryptonite,
Hmm.
for y'all who don't know Superman, that are maybe too young to know what Superman and all the kryptonite is. Kryptonite broke Superman down, right?
Hmm.
So what was your kryptonite when you started writing this book, as you wrote this book? What was your kryptonite?
Mm.
If any, you may not have had any.
Well, no, um, for me, it was a healing venture. It was going back down memory lane. It was purposely, intentionally opening up closets, taking band-aids off of wounds. I was intentionally going back into a past that I had lived, and many times had blown up bridges, and wished that others would never go across those bridges. But it was that desire to be whole. It was that desire to be healed. It was that desire to um, have 100% um, atonement in my life,
Okay.
that I was able to take the emotions and the feelings and, gather them together and begin to write and deal with the pain as I was writing. There was one part where I was just sobbing, and my husband said, like, what's going on? What's wrong? And I said, I realized that during the moment in this time, I didn't have that. I wasn't able to cry. I wasn't able to feel those emotions they process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one where the enemy could not overtake me. I think that sometimes when we're going through things and we suppress them and we put them in the closet or in a box or whatever we do, and we don't deal with them, it's because we know that if I lose it, I may not come back from this journey, and I have to keep going. And so that's what it was for me.
I think when I was reading it, I got a lot of sense of voice, giving your past a voice,
Mhm.
giving the situations that you went through a voice, and looking at it today, I think it will encourage people to use their voice now, rather than suppressing it because you're not supposed to talk about it, or I'm afraid somebody else may get hurt, but you're dying on the inside yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that not only that, sometimes as a very young person, obviously, not just not having a voice, but it was not having the words. It was not being able to communicate, kind of like a newborn baby, come here helpless and totally dependent. And in society, that's how we get here as humans, right? And you're
Mhm.
totally dependent on the nourishment and the nurturing. And it depends on your environment that you come to. You may not get the tools or the skills that you need to be able to voice your concerns, your hurts, your pains, your joy, your laughter. You
Mhm.
just may not learn the language to be able to express it. I think language in terms of being able to communicate is something that is lacking of today. you know, we text, you know, we message, but we very seldom do face-to-face, not just because of COVID, we've become comfortable with it. And so we've lost the art of communicating. And I wanted, especially young people, to understand that it's okay to talk to adults. They may not be perfect. They may not even have the answers, and they may sound like broken records, but it's important for you to be okay with speaking with others about what is happening to you when it is happening to you, and not suppress it and keep it inside. I think this generation has learned to be very vocal in a good way because of being able to have Instagrams and Facebooks and all the social media platforms out there. But generationally, we have to be okay with not being okay and having people that we can speak to that will hear us.
Absolutely. And in the book also, not only are your voice, but the book also tells us how, as adults, we need to pay attention. I saw a lot of disconnect with adults in the book and the main character, because they weren't listening, they weren't looking, they weren't connecting. And I saw that. So I learned what I think a lot of people will learn will be two sides, talk and listen as well. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what would you like your readers to comprehend and appreciate from reading your book, Echoes from the Grave? What would you like for them to comprehend and appreciate the most?
That we all have a heart, that we all have that in common, and love and mercy and grace and compassion is what we have to be willing to give more of. Not just disapproval, not just disagreements, but being able to say that no matter what life throws at me, no matter what's going on, I know that I have a destiny. I know that I have a purpose. I know that God doesn't make mistakes. I'm not a mistake. To walk away with forgiveness, very important to be able not only to forgive yourself, but to be able to forgive others, and to be able to heal, joy, encouragement, hope. When you feel like giving up and I can't go on, to just reach down inside yourself and find whatever little piece you've hidden away and bring it out and be okay and flourish and grow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's good.
That's what I would hope, that there's a sistership, that there's a brothership, that as humans, as humanity, there's a part where I say that we seem to be hell bent on destroying one another, because we do focus on the one race, you know, and as humans, we have to realize, because we have this common heartbeat inside of us, we're all human, and opinions will agree and disagree all day long, but remember humanity, cultivate humanity. That's for me what it's all about.
That's really, really good. I wish you could get on CNN and say all of that, because they need to hear it. It's really, really good.
Hey, we'll send a recording.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your first published book?
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Is there another book stirring in your soul somewhere that we need to be watching for?
Oh yes, absolutely.
You know, is it going to be a chapter? Is it the next volume?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue to discuss things with Mrs. Echols and introduce new characters.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, I want you to pretend with me now. Let's pretend we're riding you're riding in an elevator. You're on the first floor, and there's a millionaire on the elevator with you, and this millionaire is riding going on the first floor with you. You guys are both going to the 10th floor. The millionaire's name is Dorcas, we're gonna pretend big. It's me, okay? So
That's right. That's right.
I'm
That's right.
So we're
Okay.
riding on the elevator. You have a captive audience. How are you going to convince this millionaire to invest in Echoes from the Grave?
I would simply say, Madam, if you have a moment, I'd like to entice you in an investment. We all stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, the millionaire and the poor man. And that's what an echo is, somebody who has said something before us. And I just fortunate enough to walk the walk now. And I hope that I can get you to join the walk with me, that you can find your echo, that you can catch your wave. I'm glad you have a lot of money. And I'm glad you talk to those who don't have a lot of money. And I'm trying to find out how I can, I don't know, I'm lost now. I was trying too hard, girl. I was trying. I got to think about that $1 million in my head. And I was like, ooh, $1 million.
You got nervous.
Like, ooh, that's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm
but you know that I do that to a lot of people.
Yeah, I got nervous on that.
Yeah, I know. But you never know when that
opportunity.
That's right. You never know when that opportunity is gonna be, and we get messed up. We'll try to start saying too much or too little, and rather than look here, I need you to buy my book. But you were doing good. You were on your roll. You were on your roll there. I liked it. So one day we'll be on the elevator together and we'll both be millionaires in our yellow and black, and we'll be going where we're going. Okay.
Hey, I'll practice between now and then.
That's right. So when I think of literary success, I think about Maya Angelou, I think about Toni Morrison, James Baldwin, Michelle Obama. What does literary success look like to you?
All those greats that you've mentioned, Nikki Giovanni, all of those folks. And it also looks like, he is the author and the finisher of our faith. And he's allowed me to step into that arena of being called an author. And it's an opportunity to use it as a platform. It gives me a voice. Mm-hmm. And I intend to use that voice to help people as much as I possibly can in getting the message out of unity, of humanity, that we're all helpers to one another. I need you as much as you need me. Okay. Yes.
Okay. And what advice do you have for anyone listening or maybe listening about writing, about becoming an author? What best advice, what 2 things can you tell to a potential writer and author to help them to be successful, such as yourself?
Start. Just start. Just pick up a pen, notebook, laptop, voice recorder, and just start your story, because no one can tell it better than you can. And we all have a story, and we all have a story worth telling. Mm-hmm. So just start, and then be patient with yourself. Don't rush yourself. If you have a storyline, stick with that. Just try to hone in your skill as much as possible, and trust other people. Let them read your drafts. Get some ideas from other people around you, so that you stay focused on the goal at hand, and make timelines, and contact Curry Brothers. They have an excellent editing department, and they have an excellent team that will continue to encourage you. That's what I would say.
Very good. Very good.
It's just start.
That's good
and
stuff.
Don't be afraid.
And
Mhm.
don't be afraid. So did you ever experience writer's block when you were writing?
Yes, absolutely.
And how did you get over it?
I think that for me, it was a nudging. I was stuck in an area of going multiple places with this book, and then um, going with inside of myself into my prayer closet and having those quiet moments when I can do a reality check and check myself and uh, talk to other people that have written books or other people who have felt stuck in one area or another in their life. They encourage me to keep going. And so, and my husband, pushing, I mean, nudging. Did I say pushing?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
did.
nudging. He gently would nudge.
And sometimes he probably had to push too, because if you go through a writer's block,
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
you need somebody to push you. So,
Yes.
yeah. So, was there ever a time that you said, "I'm quitting. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm putting it down. This is too much."
This morning.
This morning. What happened this morning? Who did something to you this morning?
It wasn't my husband this time. No, you just wake up with jitters and you wake up with fears and you wake up with like, Lord, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
oh God. And, and God told me, he's like, the book is out. You've done it. Like, what are you scared of now? And I was like, I don't know, but, I failing, any excuse, every excuse, just this morning, I'm done. I don't want to do this more, because we get comfortable with hiding and going back into our reclusions of ourselves, because we know who we are, and why does anybody else need to know who I am? I'm comfortable with who I am. And then I remembered that this was a gift that was given to me. It was a gift because it was stored inside of me for so long, then I was able to release it. And in the releasing, I was able to heal. And I remember how grateful I am right now at this moment for that opportunity, for that relationship with God on this journey, every step of the way. And then, he nudges me the most and reminds me, I've got you. I've got you. You're telling a story for me because you're telling a testimony, you know. Mm. And so that's where my encouragement comes from,
Well, we're glad
is
you
I
didn't
trust
stop.
wholeheartedly every fiber of my being, his love and his mercy, I will hold on to it forever.
Oh, amen. We're glad you didn't stop, honey, because we've been sitting here looking
Thank
at
you.
each
Thank
other
you.
and not talking to you. So we're glad you didn't stop. So let's get on the elevator again.
Right. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's get on the elevator again. And you're with the millionaires again. I ain't gonna call her name no more, so y'all know who the millionaires is in the storyline. Tell this millionaires a summary of your book from floor 1 to floor 5, and that way everybody, I read what was in your book, but hearing it from you and telling your audience is a little different. So give us a brief summary of what you want people to know before picking up this book.
Well, I would say that it's a short book, and it was short on purpose. I did that intentionally, but it's packed with a lot of messages, a lot of nuggets, a lot of love. I would say you would laugh and you will cry through this book, but you will also begin to ask questions of yourself and how you perceive people. And it may allow you to begin to heal some brokenness. And it may bring you great joy to know that all is not lost. On generations of people, because as long as we're breathing, as long as we have a heartbeat, um, we can do an about face. You
Mhm.
can atone for things of your past, and you can look forward to a future. And I think this book helps you to get there. It shows you uh, a life of hard times, but yet it shows you a faith of a people who believed wholeheartedly in God, and it gives you hope and encouragement, not to give up, to keep going, no matter what the situation may look like, no matter what you're facing, to hold on to your peace and your joy down on the inside, that wonder work and stuff that's, lies on the inside of you. Tap into it, use it as often as you possibly can, and spread it, and be, you know, compassionate to one another. Um, I've always said the question would be echoes from the grave, um, because there's a dash in between everybody's birthday, and that dash represents your race.
Mhm.
And I want my children's children's children to know, and I want everyone who picks up the book to know that I gave it my best
Mhm.
all the way in
Mhm.
between that dash.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. And one of the
So,
things,
millionaire, you want to buy a book?
yes, honey, I'm gonna buy you. I'll buy you a book and a car too, and we're gonna do all this together. Um, One thing I want to let the audience know is I was reading the book. There's generational abuse that she talks about in the book. And
Mhm.
because, and she states in the book that there was not a Me Too movement at that time.
Mhm.
Um, but if you read the book and you put what happened years ago in perspective of today, it will encourage you not to allow that to happen to you. Or if you know someone who's going through it, it will help you to know that you need to say something. You need to to do something. And back years ago, people got, particularly women, got beat and
Mhm.
abused, and no one ever talked about it. Um, was just gone. But that part of the book stands out a lot to me to encourage 2022 to do better and talk about it.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No,
here's Gabby Petrillo, who's Gabby Petrillo, who got famous, unfortunately, for um, going with her boyfriend across country. The police pulled him
yes,
over.
yes,
She's obviously crying in the backseat of the car, but he's able to talk to the officers off to the side, convince them, merely because he was a man, that she was delusional and upset and crazy. Then he was able to get in his car and drive and kill this woman.
right,
That is the point of the book, that women are still being victimized today.
right.
And we have to change that. We have to do better.
Right, we do. And
Yes,
when you, if and
absolutely.
not when you read it, if you not if you read it, when you all read the book, you'll understand. I'll get it together. You'll understand that there is so many messages in it that can be easily, like she said, she's going to bring you to the front door of today, and she does that in a graceful, very tactful way, very tactful way. Thank you so much. I don't have any more questions. I don't, but I want to go to our chat box and get the questions from our audience. But I do want to
Absolutely.
thank you. Let's see what we got down here in this chat box here. Let's see. Uh,
There's no questions in the chat box yet, but if anyone wants to
okay.
unmute, then they can answer the question through
Okay.
you, ma'am. So feel free. We got about 20 people on the line here. Any questions?
I
And if
guess
not,
we
I
did
got
such
one.
a good job. Miss Ford, I guess we did such a good job there. Everybody understands everything. What were we going to say, Dr. Curry?
Yeah, I got a question. I mean, naturally, by being your publisher, I know your story inside and out. I must have read it, I don't know, well over 100 times. The one thing that continued to compel me is your strength to strive on. I mean, you never once throughout your entire life decide to throw in the towel and just, say quit. Even when you made good decisions and bad decisions, you talk about some of the bad decisions that you made along the way. Most people would have carried that type of stuff to the grave, and you chose not to. And so again, I really just not really a question. I just want to salute your strength of character to be able to stand fast and then to raise 7 amazing children after that. I mean, who gets to do that? I'm looking at one of the things that Daryl Moore, he
Yeah.
talks about film
Film
rights.
rights. I saw that.
Perhaps that's something you need to think about because your story is so compelling. It's an American story, and you have a way,
Absolutely.
it's convincing enough to people like, wow, from a parent's perspective, I
Mhm.
would have been so mad at you if you were my kid. And, but I can't, you know, I, I, I can't beat the daylights out of you. But, I just want to hug and hold on to you and never let you go. So from a parent's perspective, I mean, this was like, ouch. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
kind of stung in a big way. But then from a kid, a teenager, going through all these things, making the decisions that you're making, you have to kind of like, wow, not only what is she thinking, but how in the heck is she going to get through it? So I'm going to leave it there and just kind of allow you to kind of comment if you want,
Okay.
but I'm in awe.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Curry. Anyone else have any questions or comments they'd like to or encouragement they'd like to give our author, our featured author, Miss Ford? Daryl Moore, you look like you got something to say.
Actually, no,
Oh,
I don't. I'm going to digress a little bit. I haven't seen Gerald in about, I don't know, 20 years, maybe. I don't know.
okay.
It's good to see you, brother. And listen, I'm very impressed with the exchange, the dialogue. I haven't read the book, but it sounds like a very interesting one. I think my understanding about whenever there is family pain, it is kind of good to be able to express some of that pain through literature.
Right.
And I just hope all the best for Miss Ford and her success on her book. And I'm just glad to be here.
Thank you.
And Dorcas, you did a great job too.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want to be somebody when I grow up, so I'm trying.
You're a natural. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ms. Ford, thank you for allowing me this opportunity once again. It is a joy. I have enjoyed reading your book, and I encourage everyone on here to get a copy. Curry Brothers is going to tell us how we can get a copy of the book. I wish you the best in the future, and don't forget what we're going to do when we become millionaires, okay? I love it. Thank you, Curry Brothers, for allowing me the opportunity to do the interview as well.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
saw a hand come up on AMES. Hand was up. Do they have a question, a comment?
Okay, I had my hand raised, Sarita Jefferson.
Okay.
I've known Alicia.
Hi, Lady J.
Hi.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, I've known Alicia for probably 30 years or more. We work together, and I am just so proud of you, Alicia. I admire your courage. I mean, I retired 17 years ago, and I was going to write a book, and I haven't written it yet. So I admire your courage. I'm looking forward to reading the book and sharing it with people in Fairfield. And thank you, Bobby, for being there to keep poking, encouraging, keeping her going. So I look forward to talking to you later, Alicia. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, Mrs. J. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Can I say one other thing before Curry Brothers takes it over? I want to give accolades to Robert Ford, her husband, for being that person behind her, beside her, in front of her, to encourage her. It takes a lot. It takes a lot just to be a husband, and when your wife is trying to do something and not get in her way and not make her feel like, oh, will you just leave? So I'm so glad that you were there and that you helped her through this.
Yes.
Applause to you for
Thank
being
you.
that kind of husband.
Okay. And I could only stand behind this strong woman right here, because 35 years ago, she said she was going to do this, and I had to see her through.
Very good. Thank you for
Very proud of her.
Yes, sir. All right, Brother Currys, we'll let y'all have it.
I saw David saying, David, do you have a comment?
Forgive me, I struggle with getting this mute button unmuted. No, I just wanted to say great job. I do want to apologize. I end up coming in a little bit later than I had anticipated, but just hearing your message briefly, I'm inspired. And you said some things that really did wake some things in me, like in my mind, hearing echoes from the grave makes me think like I don't want to die without saying everything that I was placed here to say. Like you said, we all have a destiny, and I want to make sure I say everything there is that God wants me to say before my time here is done. And secondly, I want to make sure those things that I do say, are representation of God, and that I am an ambassador of God and saying things that are prolific and life-giving. So thank you for sharing that. Great job on getting that book finished.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. That's what it's all about, for us to be uplifting and encouragers to one another. I truly believe that, we're better together than we are separated. I truly believe that. I believe that, God gives us the family. He puts the people in our lives that's supposed to be in our lives. He makes no mistakes. And there was a line in Wakanda when he went to go see his father after he had died, and he told him he was wrong for leaving a son. The little boy back there, and the boy came back with so much anger. So we have to be willing when we go into the past to realize that we were even wrong and be okay. And if you have an opportunity to atone with people, take that opportunity. Forgiveness, not only for yourself, but for them, means a lot. We hold on to stuff like we have storages of stuff that we just hold on to. And life would be so much sweeter and easier if we just really emptied out our storage and allowed God to fill us in and walk with us and have a relationship with us. And you would be amazed of the joy and the peace that you will receive in spite of, because this generation is dealing with way more than what I had to deal with. Things are so instant and so easy in access to get to your children and your young people. And we don't want to talk about it as people. We don't want to talk about it not only in our families, but even as a country. We don't want to have the conversation. And we have to have the conversations, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be able to agree to disagree and have the conversation with each other, so that we can heal and move on and stop repeating these cycles that have been set up for us to continue to repeat. If God can use me, he can use anybody.
Amen. Amen. Very good. So, Curry Brothers, can you
So
tell
with
us how we can
that,
get the book?
I appreciate everyone's time. I genuinely appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate Curry Brothers to the highest for taking a chance on me, for encouraging me. I talked myself into doing this book and writing this book, and they were right along with me, even with the corrections. Brother Robert Curry and Brother Gerald Curry, they are true like brothers to me, saying, little sister, you got this. Just keep going, don't give up. And just meeting, our host today, who, appreciate you all. Mhm. Okay.
Okay, thank
Hello?
you so much. We're here. We can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear you. Thank you so
I
much.
do a poem. Are we waiting?
No, we're good. We're
Are
good.
we
I
on
was
mute?
going to ask Curry Brothers to tell us
Oh.
how we can purchase your
You can hear
book.
me? Okay. All right.
We're going to ask Curry Brothers, how can we purchase your book?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't mind providing that commentary, Dorcas. But Alicia, is there anything else you wanted to say?
I just wanted to encourage, tell everyone, encourage you, and then tell you how much I appreciate you. If you have the opportunity to read the book, get in touch with me. The information is in the back of the book. Any of those platforms, I'd be interested in your thoughts. If you haven't received the book yet, it's an easy read and you'll survive it. It's not that bad. It's actually really, really good, if I must say so myself. But no, I'm grateful for the journey, the staff that helped me. That is what I wanted to say. The editors, to the designer of the book cover. It's amazing, amazing. You captured everything that I wanted the book cover to say. And the team, everybody, even to your wives, who support you as you help, publishers become publishers. And I'm elated and looking forward to moving forward, on fire, looking forward to moving forward. And I hope that the project itself, national and international, and we can make a mini series out of it.
We got some plans for you, young lady. We got some plans for you. That's for sure. Before I get into ordering the book and all that, folks, I want to say thank you for being here. First of all, writing a book is a significant personal journey. It's almost, to some degree, I think some authors would say it's an out-of-body experience if you haven't done it, because it takes you through a lot of highs and lows. But once you finally get it done, it's like, whew, it's a relief. And you're like, okay, now let me go ahead and make it do. But a book is only as good as, the folks that actually that have access to it and can actually read it. I like to kind of think that for $20, a book that retails for $20, if you sell 50,000 books, guess what? You've generated over $1 million. That $1 million that Dorcas was talking about. So our goal is to help you become a millionaire by selling 50,000 books or more. And it takes a community to do that. To order this particular book, the hardbound retails for $25, drop in the bucket. The softbound, $15. So who can't afford $15 or $25? And so again, go to currybrotherspublishing.com. The books are there. We just received your ebook. We'll be posting that over the weekend. The ebook retails, I want to say it's $2.99 for that. All those proceeds go directly to you, the author. And so we're really excited about you starting your journey. And so again, talk it up. Go to the website, order the book, order for some friends. We have holidays coming up. There's nothing better than to actually put a book in someone's hand. I personally do a lot of reading. I read 3 books every week, every single week, 2 audio books and 1 hardcover book. Now that takes a lot of sacrifice dedication and discipline to do that. I'm not asking you to do that, but what I am asking you to do is to start improving on how many books you actually read. Give yourself a personal challenge. The average person in America only reads 2 to 3 books a year. Those wealthy individuals that Dorcas and Alicia talked about earlier typically will read 50 to 100 books. Okay, so that's 1 or 2 a month. And so when we acquire new knowledge, it allows you to move to a higher level. Leaders are readers. This is the bottom line. And so if you plan on being a leader in your community, in your home, in your church, then folks, you got to acquire new knowledge. And one of the best ways to acquire new knowledge is by reading. And I would encourage you to start with Alicia Ford's Echols from the Grave book, and then just keep it going. Talk it up. Talk to your friends. Talk to your community. We're going to do more launches like this with Miss Ford over the coming months. And we're so excited about all the folks that were here. I see that Dr. Kathy Nelson Powell just showed up. And I'm going to, if Alicia doesn't mind, I'm going to give her a chance just to say a few words after my brother's words. But anyway, folks, thank you for being here. I see Dorcas is raising her hand, getting my attention.
Yeah,
Yes, go for it.
I wanted to make a correction. You said the millionaire that Alicia and I talked about. That's the millionaire that we're going to be.
Okay.
Correction there.
Yeah, 50,000 books is my goal, is to help you sell a minimum of 50,000 books. And that goes for every single author that we have. So again, I'm encouraged. I'm excited. Dr. Powell, would you like to say a few words?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to speak.
No, ma'am, you're not. Only if you want to.
Well, I just wanted to congratulate my sister. I'm so godly proud of her and this endeavor that she has sought out to do. I know it's it's been some rough times for her, but I'm just just glad and proud of her and proud of what she's doing. And I just look forward to what is to come, because I know that Sister Alicia has a lot of a lot of knowledge and a lot more books, that she, can write with the story that she has, been, with the things that she has been through in her life. So, just wanted to say congratulations to her. And I am just really proud to be a part of her journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Kathy, for being that sister who never leaves anybody behind. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you for writing the forward for me. I'm grateful to you. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. Mr.
Thank
Robert.
you so much.
Alicia, I just want to say thank you again. I know we have talked many times, but for everyone that's on the call here, she is that personable kind of person, Alicia is, that on page 114 is the information that she's talking about, that you can reach out to her and talk to her about her book, talk to her about some other issues, talk to her about your life, whatever you choose to do. But we are here at Curry Brothers Publishing that we try our best to help everyone tell their story and get your story out there. So we do that by one book, 1 foot at a time. And we really hope that all of you will keep abreast to what we're trying to do with the author's training, what we're trying to do with encouraging others to write. If you have friends or yourself, give us a call. We can have a scoping meeting with you and help you through the process of writing your book or getting your story out there. So again, I want to thank everyone on this live feed. And I want to thank again Alicia and her husband, Robert, for coming into Curry Brothers' life and being a part of our family.
Yay, thank you. And you can also reach me simply at echosaliciaford.com. If that makes it easy for anybody, echosaliciaford.com, one word. Well,
all righty. Well, folks, thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
Huts of a shame. Yeah, out of a hut of the history shame, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. Whether you came out with Moses, whether you came out with Harriet Tubman, you can come out today and be free because it's available to you. Thank you. Get Echoes from the Grave. You will enjoy it. Be blessed.
Fantastic. With that,
Yes.
folks, have a great day,
Thank
a
you.
great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
And again, Dorcas, a great job.
All right. Miss Ford.
Miss Ford.
You're our
Yes,
champion.
thank you, my sister. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
And Robert, thank you so much.
Love you guys. Thank you for the love. I appreciate
We'll be talking soon.
Thank you, audience, for coming in. We appreciate each one of you all.